Welcome back. This is the second video on creating a spreadsheet that will help you to discover how much it's going to cost to be a student in a British university. Hopefully you've now got a spreadsheet that's looking like this. So far we've just put in text such as the word loan or numbers such as the salary of £23,000 for a starting computer programmer. Now we're going to start putting in the third sort of things you can put into spreadsheet cells, namely formulas. So, if your starting salary is £23,000, hopefully over 1 year, that first year that you were earning, you'll have earned £23,000. That's going to appear in here. That's in B8. I'm going to put a formula there. Now, formulas begin with an equal sign. I'm saying go off and find the value in B3. That's the salary. So notice it didn't pick up the name B3, it picked up the new name that we gave it, which was salary. So what we're saying is in B8, what will appear there is anything that is actually in B3, which we've renamed as salary. When we press enter, there's the £23,000. Actually, the format's not right, is it? So let's just sort of, we'll do the trick we did before. We'll go to cell B3, choose that format with the format painter, and we'll take that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint that format in all of the cells down here. So if I go all the way down here, right down to the very bottom, just to there, when I let go, all of those cells now will have that format with the pound sign and the comma. Good. Well, that's the first year, and of course the next year will be, well, I'm assuming to begin with anyway that you're doing the same job, you'll get the same salary. So I'm going to put in here equals, and I'm going to copy the cell above it, which is in B8. When I press enter, that'll be £23,000. Now, that cell, B9, now notice what's actually inside it is equals B8, even though we're looking at £23,000. I'm going to copy that formula all the way down on the 30 years. So I just need to grab hold of that handle, hold the left-hand button down on my mouse, drag all the way down, all for all 30 years, down to there. There we have it. The whole series of salaries of £23,000. Good. What will be interesting to you perhaps is that in cell B9 we typed in equals B8, but when we copied it down in B10, that's equals B9. And then the one below that is equal to B10. So when it copied it in a very clever sort of way. What it's saying is, I will look at the cell above myself. Let's do that same trick with the boundary salary. So I wanted to pick up equals the thing that we've set as the boundary salary, £21,000. So if I press enter there, yes, it's got boundary salary. And then when I press enter, that'll be £21,000. Oh, okay, well, we've got the same issue here. I'll just get that format. And I'll paint it into there. And then that boundary salary, well, I'm going to do the same trick again. It's equals the cell above it, 21,000. I'm going to copy all of those down to the 30th year. Good. And so now let's find out how much will be paid each year. This is a little bit of a calculation, a formula. It's equal to the difference between the salary and the boundary salary will be multiplied by 9%. So what is 9%? That is the number 0.09. So I'm going to multiply that number by, now I want to find the difference. I'll need to put a bracket in. 23,000, that's in B8, minus the boundary salary. Notice I'm not typing in B8 or C8. I'm using the mouse and clicking in the various cells and close the bracket. Why did I need the bracket? Well, if I hadn't done that, then the computer would have done the multiplication first, 0.9 times B8, and then have subtracted C8 from that. The 0.9 wouldn't have got calculated by the B8 minus C8. We need to do that first, and in order to tell the spreadsheet to do that first, you need to put it into a bracket. I'm going to press enter. Yes, there's the £180 that we thought that would be in our earlier video. Just change the format. I'll get the format from there. Format Painter. Like that. There we go. And that repayment calculation is going to be the same all the way down here. So I'll just copy all the way down to the 30th year. And that's £180 every year for 30 years. Let's work out the total repayment then. So over these 30 years, how much will this person actually pay? So let's put a title here in that cell. Total repayment. Yes, we need to wrap the text on that one. Still not quite big enough. Just make that a bit bigger. Good. So in cell D4, we'll actually do the calculation. Now we want to add up a whole load of cells, and to add them up, you use a formula called sum. S-U-M, bracket. And then we need to tell the spreadsheet which cells to add up. Well, I'm not going to type them in. I'm going to use the mouse and holding the left-hand button down, I'm highlighting all of those cells that I wanted added up. So it's all that lot there. Now, having done that, let's just see the effect on the formula. So the spreadsheet has typed in D8 colon D37, which is saying I will add up all of those cells from D8 to D37. We need to close that with a bracket, but then having done that, it will add all those up. Let's just see, £5,400. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we haven't even mentioned yet what the loan is. Was it £27,000? Was it £36,000? Well, to work out the total repayment, we don't actually need to know that. It was dependent on the salary, not on the loan that had been taken out. Let's say you had gone to university for 3 years and you do have a loan of £27,000. You'll have only paid back £5,400 and the rest of the loan will be cancelled. And that doesn't look so bad, does it? You were in debt for a lot of money, but you've only paid back £5,400 over the 30 years. So that doesn't seem so bad. Actually, we need a lot more work to be done on this particular spreadsheet before we really know what's going on. You see, it seems to have been rather complicated what we were doing here. Why did we have in here equals B8 and equals B9 when we could have just copied the number 23,000 all the way down? And the same with the boundary ones as well. It's because we need to take into account two critical things. The first is that when you become a computer programmer or an architect or a teacher or a doctor, you'll be getting, as you work through life, you'll be getting more and more experience. So it's, as a computer programmer with 10 years experience, you'll have much more knowledge, do a better job than somebody who's only got 1 year's experience. And that's normally rewarded because you get paid more each year. Our initial model is assuming you're going to get £23,000 every year. But that's not very good. You would expect your salary to go up. Now, I point out that the salary is going up not because of any inflation. That's the other problem, and we'll need to take that into account in just a moment. But what I'm talking about here is payment for experience. So how can we build that in? And that's why we made our initial model a little bit more complicated so we can change it. So let's have a look at cell B9. That's, at the moment, it's got a formula called equals B8. The cell above it, exactly. Now I'm going to change that, because what I want to do is I want to, let's say, increase somebody's salary by, well, let's just have a guess of 1%. And then that would be a reward 1 year later because of extra experience. They'll have a slightly bigger salary. Actually, I might want to increase it by 2% or maybe 3%. I think I know what we need to do here. I think we want to have a cell at the top here that can have a value for the salary increase, and then we can change it from 1% to 2% or whatever we might like to have very easily. Let's do that.